and welcome back to my Skillshop project series. In today's video, I will explain task 7, which is developing a fully responsive and dynamic carousel for the homepage using Tailwind CSS and JavaScript. In this video, I will only focus on the carousel section, including the HTML structure, Tailwind styling, JavaScript functionality, and auto slide indicators, responsiveness, handling, and slide calculations. So let's get started with the HTML structure. Okay, let's get started. So the carousel is in the home.php file. It is actually below the div 2. Here I have the featured carousel. So over here we have started a section with the ID browse, and the side that we have a class py16 mdpy24. so this means that it is a vertical padding, a larger padding on medium screens and above. Next we have max width 7 pixels, so this means it limits maximum width of the section. And then I have the margin vertically, margin horizontally, so this means that it centers the section horizontally. And then we have padding horizontally, and small medium padding horizontally 6, and large padding horizontally 8. So this means it is a responsive horizontal padding. From this, it means that it ensures the carousel is properly spaced and responsive. Below that we have the carousel wrapper within a div relative group. So relative means it allows absolutely positioned buttons inside it. Then the group means that it enables hover based visibility for navigation buttons. This wrapper contains everything: slides and navigation arrows. Below that we have another div tag. So here it says overflow hidden rounded Excel. So overflow hidden means that it hides the slides that move outside the visible area. And then the rounded Excel means it gives a smooth rounded edges to the carousel. Without overflow hidden, sliding animation would look broken. Now let's go to the main carousel track. So again, inside a div tag I have given the ID carousel, and then the class flex transition transform duration 500, that means 5 seconds, and then ease out. The style transform translate x within brackets 0. So the ID means that it is used in JavaScript to move slides, and the flex means that places all the items horizontally in a row, and the transition transform means it animates the transform form that changes, and the duration means it's within 5 seconds. The animation that lasts within 500 milliseconds. Then next we have the ease out. Ease out means that it smooths the declaration effect. And then the style transform translate means it's the initial position of the carousel. So this container translate moves left and right using translate x. Below the carousel container we have the carousel items. So here within a div tag we have given the class carousel item, flex shrink 0, width full, and margin width half, 1 1/3, and padding horizontally 3, and padding bottom 4. So over here the carousel item is used for identification. Then the flex shrink 0 means it prevents items from shrinking, and the width full means on mobile item takes full width. And This means that on medium screens it shows 3 items per row, and this padding means that it's a horizontal spacing, and the padding bottom 4 means that it's the bottom padding. So this is how the responsive works. On mobile 1 item is visible, and on desktop 3 items is visible. So this means no extra JavaScript is needed for the layout, and Tailwind handles with responsively. Below the carousel items, we have navigation buttons. So inside this navigation buttons, we have on-click, slide carousel, -1 and 1. We have 2 buttons over here. So this means that this button calls the function slide carousel. The first one, the -1, moves to the left, and the positive one, the 1, moves to the right. So they use absolute left 0 and top 1.5, and then translate y 1.5. So this means it centers them vertically. Also the opacity 0 and group hover opacity 100. This means they only appear when hovering over the carousel. Below the navigation buttons, we have the carousel indicators. So this container holds the dots that are updated dynamically in the JavaScript. We have 2 buttons over here. Go to slide 0, and then on click go to slide 1. Okay, now let's go to the JavaScript, so which makes this carousel more alive. So to do that, first below the call to action section, we have added a script, and below that we have variable current slide that is assigned to 0. So this means it tracks which slide group is active. And below that we have the variable items per view, which means that is assigned to window.innerWidth, that is greater or equal to 768 pixel, and this means that if the screen is greater or equal to 768 pixels, then show 3 items, otherwise show 1 item. This 768 pixel corresponds to Tailwind's modifier breakpoint. And below that we have the variable calling total items, that is assigned to 6. So this means the total number of the slides that we have added. And below that we have the variable max slides is assigned math cell within brackets total items and items per view. So this means it calculates how many slides position exists. So for example, if a desktop can show 6 items, 3 per view, that means you have to divide 6 items by 3, and then you get 2 slides. That means max slides is 2 minus 1, that is equal to 1. And in mobile, if there are 6 items and it is divided by 1, it means 1 per view, it means that there are 6 slides, and the max slides would be 6 minus 1, that is equal to 5. So this means this ensures sliding doesn't exceed limits. And below that we have the function slide carousel, within brackets the direction. So this means it receives the first, the next, and the -1, which means the previous one. Okay, so now in the slide carousel function, first we have the inside brackets in the function direction. So this means it receives the first as next and the negative one as previous. So inside this function we have current slides, which has the operator addition and the direction. So this means it updates the slide index, and below that in if-else structure we have if the current slide is greater than the max slides, then the current slide will be 0. So, and else if the current slide is less than 0, it means it shows the current slide that is equal to max slides. So this means it creates an infinite looping effect. After updating the index, this calls the function that actually moves slides, the update carousel. Below that we call the function go to slide. We have the carousel indicators as go to slide 0 and go to slide 1. So here we are calling the slides, which means it's used when clicking the dots. It directly sets the current slide to the slide, which means it updates, and after that it again calls the update carousel function. The update carousel function is then seen. So here we have the variable carousel, then it is assigned to document.getElementById, the carousel, which selects the track. Then within a variable it gets a slide width that is assigned to 100, which means each slide shift is 100%. And then the variable offset is assigned to subtract negative current slide, which is multiplied by slide width. So this means that if the current slide is 1 and the offset is negative 100%, it means that the current slide is equal to 2 and the offset would be negative 200%. And below that we have the carousel.style.transform that is assigned to the translate x. Inside that we have the offset calling, so this means it moves the entire flex container horizontally because the overflow is hidden and only the visible slides can appear. Below that we will update the dots. So here inside the function we have the variable dots container that is assigned to document.getElementById carousel indicators, and then the variable dots is assigned to dots container dot query selector all, and then taken the id dot carousel dot. So here we select all the dots, and then the dots for each, inside the bracket we have dot and the index, which is equal or greater than. So here it loops through each dot. If index is equal to the current slide, then it means that we highlight the active dot and then remove them. If else, make it inactive. So this means it ensures the visual feedback. Then we have the auto slide carousel which updates every 5 seconds. Here we have given a set interval, and inside that we have given the first carousel. This means that every 5 seconds the carousel moves forward, and this makes it automatic. And below that we have the responsive handling. So this means window.addEventListener resize calling the update carousel function. So this means that when the screen size changes, carousel readjusts the position. So this prevents the layout from breaking. And then we have the dynamic dot creation on load. So here it means that we will initialize the dots on load. So here with window.addEventListener and load, this means when the page loads, first clear the all dots. We have the variable dots container that is assigned to document.getElement by ID, then the ID carousel indicators, and here dots container inner HTML, then the value. So here it means first clear the all dots, then create the dots dynamic from this for loop, then for the each slide group, and then we have the variable dot that is assigned to document.createElement button. So this means we will create this dot into a button, and then the dot on click will go to the slide 1, and then this means it will attach the link event. Then it sets the class as carousel dot, the width 3, height 3, rounded full, transition all, and then the $sign that means on the 1 which assigns to 0, and the color will be background color blue 600 to gray 300. So this means it first activates the first dot, then the others will be inactivated. Finally, the dots container append child dot adds the dot into the container, which completes the flow. So as you can see in this, below the div 2 we have the feature skills. Within that we have the carousels. So here you can see that the carousel updates every 5 seconds, and when I click on it, it moves to the left and right. So this means that when the page loads, the items per view is calculated, then the max slides is calculated, then the dots are generated, the dots over here, and then the current slide starts at 0, and the carousel initially at translate x 0%, and when you click on the arrows, the slide carousel updates the index, and then the function update carousel moves the track, and at that time the dots update, and the auto slide runs every 5 seconds, meaning that it adjusts its layout by resizing. So in task 7 we have successfully built a fully responsive dynamic carousel using only Tailwind, CSS and JavaScript. We have implemented sliding logic, infinite looping, auto sliding, dynamic dot indicators and responsive with adjustments. So this makes the home page more interactive, modern and professional. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.